the vanity metrics that you keep hearing about, like people brag about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I boosted a post and 30 million people saw it.
Right.
Well, how much money did you make? And what's the answer?
I don't know.
Or nothing. Yeah, right?
This is the Innovation Room, where we talk about real-life scenarios of growing a successful business with practical applications. We uncover many layers of a business and dive deep into technology, marketing, and sales processes to help businesses innovate and climb into their highest level.
All right, and welcome back to the Innovation Room, where we're going to be talking about tips, tricks, and other cool things in regards to marketing and how we serve our clients. And we'll do some other fun stuff along the way. So once again, I have Matt Agostino, who's our Director of Business Development and managing sales and other aspects of our business. And today we're going to be talking about a really cool subject. It's about how to build a scalable business utilizing marketing. So let's get right into it. So Matt, how do we do this?
So first things first, it's really all about getting the right type of data. And obviously understanding your numbers at the end of the day. I'm sure, as you know, you've been dealing with a ton of campaigns over the past. Like, what are the main, I guess, what is like the average patient's journey from when they've never heard of the practice all the way to the point they convert?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that you always have to consider. And it goes not just how to build a scalable marketing aspect to your business, but it's just how do you build a marketing foundation to a business. First thing is, you know that a business is going to advertise. They're always going to have offers. But when you position just the offer or just the product, you're no different than your whole landscape of competitors. Mm-hmm. So you need to really focus on the branding and the positioning and what makes you different than everyone else. So when we talk about that, it's one, being able to set yourself apart from all your competitors, then realizing, okay, now we're advertising and people want to buy our services or work with us, that we're going to put up a budget of $500, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, whatever that number is, right? After you do a little bit of data analysis, which is what you're talking about, you're able to see what sort of results you're able to produce on the back end. Mm-hmm. A lot of businesses, what's interesting is they just focus on the basic metrics, right? Like how many impressions I got, how many leads I got. I'm sure you've heard of it all.
Vanity metrics,
right?
Pretty much.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like when you talk to clients and from the business development side, what do you hear? Like, are people bragging about?
And they're all coming in with that mindset. Like, what's the CPM? You know, what's the reach? And it's really crazy that, like, why aren't they focused on results? And I guess just the way they've been educated by, you know, other agencies and other, practitioners in this space. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so with that, the vanity metrics that you keep hearing about, like people brag about it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I boosted a post and 30 million people saw it.
Right.
Well, how much money did you make? And what's the answer?
I don't know.
Or nothing. Yeah, right. And every time I basically align him to saying, like, you probably didn't make any money out of it. Let's be real. Right, you're advertising to probably another country or something like that, and you're just getting all these crazy views because no one's advertising in their market. Mm-hmm. But in reality, like what we like to do here is we want to be able to use the data, figure out how many leads did we bring in, and then we take it even further. How many appointments were we able to create out of that? And it doesn't matter what sort of business it is. There's usually 5 things that every business is looking for. They are looking to generate leads, generate appointments out of it, or let's take a step back. You want to generate leads. You want to take those leads and convert them into prospects. And a prospect is someone that you can actually have a meaningful conversation with. Mm-hmm. From that conversation, can you convert them to an appointment? From the appointment, you want to make sure that they can show up to the appointment and get them on a consultation. And then finally, track if you can close them. Mm-hmm. Those are really any business. It doesn't matter. Even if you use the analogy of e-commerce or going to a retail store. Those are the 5 main things that businesses should be focusing on. Well, when we talk about building a reproducible model that's scalable, you need to understand every single one of those phases. And for every dollar that you spend, how much money are you making to close, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're closing a product that is $2,000 or $5,000, right, from a lifetime value or an annual value or whatever, and you had a budget of $500, well, now your metric is $500 equals X amount of leads. And we know for X amount of leads, we converted those into conversations. Mm-hmm. Out of those, turned into appointments, so on and so forth, all the way down to stages. So now if you said, you know what, Matt, I need you to help me with your company to grow our business, and we want to be doing $5 million a month. Well, it's very easy for us to be able to do that from a predictable model because we have all those data analytic points to be able to prove that one is we can prove that it's actually happening,
Mm-hmm.
and two, being able to have that analysis to say these are the gaps and where we need to improve to get back to that baseline metric.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree, and I think what you were saying earlier, it's all about building that foundation, right? Everything from your brand, everything from your authority in the market, and really separating yourself from everybody else in terms of how you deliver value and what makes you so exceptional. And although this whole financial quantitative analysis is important, I mean, at the end of the day, conversion is everything. And conversion ties to more of your qualitative factors, like your ability to communicate, your ability to really build rapport and show that you care. So like, numbers are super, super important, but really, and it's always back to the system, right? The system's only going to be as strong as the people using it, whether it's a online marketing system, whether it's a financial system, whatever the case may be. Those qualitative factors are going to come and play such a big part in all of this. And yes, like once you understand the numbers, I mean, your primary focus should be getting your conversion rate at at least industry standard level before starting to figure out, okay, how far could we go? Because that conversion rate is going to have a humongous impact on that scalable model, that financial model, that machine that you're building.
Yeah, and I'll take it a step further. You know, I really think that businesses should really focus on their systems and processes to close.
Mm-hmm.
Let a team like us focus on the numbers and metrics, and from a consulting perspective, point out where those gaps are, right? Because if they're the best at what they do, let us be the best, or us or any agency or whatever that's helping.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on those numbers, and then if, you know, building that strong partnership with an agency or a consultant or something, you'll be able to take it a lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
And then it becomes something of, we want to make $5 million a month in revenue, so let's run the math backwards and then figure out what are we doing to sustain each one of those 5 phases.
Yeah, and just as a side note, it kind of, you know, bothers me sometimes when we're talking to, you know, a lot of, you know, clients or even just other agencies that are dealing with a ton of clients as well, when, you know, they're just always so focused on volume. Let's get volume and let's get volume. And like, to be honest, we will have those conversations about going over that model, figuring out their numbers. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to try to go deep into the numbers until we've locked down that conversion rate. And once you have, and once we've stabilized that, then, you know, now it's, let's get really down and dirty. And you can take it even one step further outside of marketing, right? Obviously, from a marketing standpoint, cost per lead is going to be that first metric that you at least have an idea. If I put X amount of dollars into Facebook, I know how much is going to be coming back based on your past data. But the next step is, what is your cost per acquisition? From a marketing standpoint, that includes, you know, the entire investment that you made with the agency to build out the entire campaigns. But if you want to take it even one step further from a business standpoint, now what are your margins? What's your product mix? Which services or products are getting the best ROI, short-term, long-term? Figuring out your I know we spoke about this, even with break-even marketing, that comes into play as well. But overall, it's like, let's not overthink things. Like, a lot of businesses just want to know the data. How much does it cost to get X amount of leads, and how much can I just keep dumping money? When at the end of the day, unfortunately, a lot of them are treating these opportunities as disposables and not focusing on what they currently have and maximizing those results, but just trying to, okay, we didn't close them, perfect, we'll just go on to the next, without really realizing what held them back from being able to deliver that value and, you know, close those deals.
You know, one of the biggest risks that a business takes is burning bridges, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you are trying to push for, hey, we need more leads, more opportunities, just bring us more leads, and they're not closing, they are burning bridges with people, because once they say no to you, or let's take a step back, and let's say if you're an audience, you know, your city or your community is only 10,000 people, right? There's only so much opportunity for you to close these deals. Well, we can easily crank up the volume and bring you tons of leads, opportunities, and stuff. But if you're not closing all those people, you've saturated the market, and now you have no more opportunity to generate revenue. And you're basically, you know, walking back, trying to explain how you messed up the first time. So it's like dating, right?
Right.
You can date 500 people, and if they all say no to you for a second date, you're out of people, right? So you got to expand or move to a different community or a different area. So that's a big risk. And so you want to minimize that as much as possible in what we call our testing phase, and really make sure that the system is built so that when you are ready to scale, you can maximize all the opportunities that come through your door.
Right. And from a financial standpoint, people, like, you know, obviously there's a ton of business owners that are mainly financially driven, some are more impact driven, and obviously it's not like, you know, 100% on one side, 100% on the other. There is a fine balance, and it changes from, you know, person to person. But if you are financially driven, I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't close these deals, what's the point of all of this? But from a value impact standpoint, like, don't forget, if you start treating each of these opportunities as, oh, I know there's gonna be more coming in, what does that do to your subconscious? It makes you think, okay, I know even if I can't close this one, or this person's being a bit hard, it's closing process a bit harder, fine, now what do we do next? Let's just focus on the next lead coming in, versus how do I service this person in the best way possible, take the time that I need to really understand their goals, their needs, their why, the time frame, the investment that they've made, and then from there, maximizing every opportunity that comes in versus just focusing on the next one.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a huge problem that we see with people trying to just ramp up their marketing instead of looking at it as a scalable model. But I think that's something that we're passionate about in building that fundamental side of things and becoming that partner for our clients.
Yep.
So yeah, that's everything in regards to building up a scalable model. If this is something that you are looking to do for your business, definitely reach out to us. You can book an appointment on our calendar. You can go to customerrush.com, and you can check us out at innovatefast.com. If you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you.